Hey, it's Justin from Severed Books, and people have been asking for a quick video explaining how the heck the party backstory generator works. Um, it's really simple. There's no individual character creation in this book at all. I felt really strongly that well, I know that RPG players are smart and clever, and typically you pretty much know what kind of character you like and want to play as. And there's a lot of other resources out there that help people generate characters and their backstory individually. I didn't want to create anything like that. This fuses two characters, i.e., the party, together with 300 different prompts that compound on one another as you randomly choose them. So, as a GM, or just as a party, I guess you could do this without the GM, but it's best with a GM, obviously, because they're crafting the story. You sit down, and phase one is, you sit down around the table and you just describe who you are as a character, and then you draw a map together. So this was the map that my group made. I just made a quick poster board and backed it with cardboard. And they sat down, and as they were talking about who their characters are, they drew on the map different locations where they're from, stuff where their family might be located, properties that they really care about, and I basically let them riff for like 45 minutes or an hour just doing that without the book at all. And then when they got a little stuck, or I thought like we needed more tension in the prequel narrative that they were creating together, I pulled out the book. At that point, it was just like a Word doc, obviously, and I rolled one of the many tables in here, and it prompted two of those characters to be bonded in a certain way. Maybe choose an example of that. So this is D20, a river runs, joins, and divides. So you would roll a D20, and it would generate a river within the map that you would draw. And that river has special characteristics for two players that adds backstory to who they are. If that were the first thing that you did, the first table that you rolled, you could have your players decide what that means, and then you roll another table. Let's see what another one would be. So this is D10 roads. Use this once 5 or more locations have been drawn on the map. So once your players have drawn 5 or more locations, you roll that table, and it joins locations together in meaningful ways. So it's not only alliances; it's conflict and tension. Maybe two characters share a relative that's impoverished, or a relative who's wealthy, and that relative favors only one of the characters, and the other character is out of favor. Sometimes characters can share a lover. Sometimes they can share a property that was destroyed randomly by an NPC who lives close by, and they can decide what to do about that. So it's somewhat vague yet very meaningful um, traits, I guess, like character character backstory traits that fuse players together in meaningful ways. The the other thing that makes this book special is that once you've drawn your map, it doesn't have to be totally finished. Once the map is pretty much fleshed out, it becomes a drop table. So for some reason I didn't grab any dice, but hold on one second, I'll grab some dice. Got 2d20s here. So a lot of these tables, they're like 2d20s, 3d20s, or 2d20s and 2d6s, and it says, drop them in the center of the map, let them scatter. One of them becomes a legion who's invading the area, so that would be 10, and then actually we've got 2 10s. So, and the other one would be the victims or the targets of that legion, and what that number could generate, like how many people there are or how much loot they have. So your shared map actually becomes a game board for the whole group to interact with, and make even more meaningful. So and then you build upon that, and like maybe that event will trigger something else. Sometimes the dice, when you roll the 2d20s, um, one will be one thing and one will be another thing, and in the middle is a location that both NPC groups or whatever are coming together, and there's going to be a clash in the middle, and whatever property lies in the middle of that line is affected in a certain way. So you never really know, once the drop tables start happening, how the map is going to change and how the character is going to really be maybe devastated by the results or really happy with the results. I think the drop table makes this super fun and a very different experience. And then there's also fillable stuff in the book. So as your party does all this stuff, you can fill in their names, their events, locations. So there's a spot for all the party members. Let's see. And there's a tab system right here. Well, you don't have to, but you can choose like a symbol or a color for each party member. And then throughout the book, when those party members are affected, you can mark on the tab system what event is affecting those characters. So say you have a thief who is a certain symbol or a certain color, and a wizard or magic user who is a certain symbol or color. If that event takes place and it's a meaningful event, on that page you'll just tick off or draw in on that tab who it affects. So that's it. That is the Party Backstory Generator. Super fun book. Thank you to Luke GYGAX for blurbing it. Very generous. He called it fun twice, which is I can't ask for more than that. And then the other Luke, who Eidenstink, I cannot pronounce his name. I feel bad, but he did the cover, and it's so rad. Very like throwback, original RPG D&D. It's sort of perfect for the vibe of the book. So thank you guys. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, just contact me directly. Thank you.